Hola! Today we're going to be matchmaking the lightweight division. We have the biggest superstars in the whole sport in this division. Right now it's a little bit slow at the top. Ilia's situation. We have a couple interim fights, a couple weird things going on, but we're going to go through the rankings and I'm going to point out the fights that are from the UFC and which fights are my own, and yeah, we're going to go about it like that. Starting off in the bottom, we have Fares Ziam, one of the newer entries to the rankings. I'm going to make him go up against Beneil Dariush. Dariush, Unk, I got one more in me. He's actually super washed, and I am afraid for his well-being. Like, this far into the sport, he needs to retire. He needs to go. Ziam is on a big streak. He deserves to fight in the rankings. He deserves to get near the top 10. And Beneil needs to retire. I want to give Beneil one last fight. He obviously isn't going to retire before fighting. And I just want to give him someone that won't murder him. He just got knocked out by Benoit Saint-Denis in like 10 seconds, 11 seconds. I have to give him someone that won't give him more CT than he already has. So make these two fight. Ziam wins by decision, and Dariush retires. Up next, we have Mauricio Rufi, 14th ranked, going up against Rafael Fiziev, 9th ranked. And this is a little bit of a weird matchup because they're both coming off of losses. And Mauricio, I guess, is getting the fighting nerds privilege and fighting up. But yeah, they're both coming off of losses. Fiziev lost the decision to Gaethje, who's now fighting for an interim title, and Rufi is losing. He lost by submission to Saint Denis. So I don't know. It's a bit of a weird matchup, but it's going to be a good fight in my opinion. This is a UFC matchup. I didn't make this matchup myself. This is going to be a slow, technical, low output striking match. This is definitely not going to the ground, and it's going to be a fought to decision. I think both of these guys have the power to put someone out. Fiziev more so than Rufi. But they both have a good chin, so I don't think it's going to happen. So as I said, it's going to be a slow decision, but it's not going to be boring. If you think it's boring, you're a casual. Kill yourself. I think Fiziev wins this one by decision. I think he gets it. Rufi's a little bit... He's going to come in very nervous, I think, because he just got quote-unquote fraud checked by Saint Denis, and it was a bit of like an embarrassing performance, where a lot of people say he quit, the choke wasn't on tight, whatever. I think Fiziev's going to come in. He's going to be able to counter Rufi, who's also supposed to be a counter striker. And I just think Rufi's going to want to prove a point and get checked. He's going to lose. I don't think it's going to hurt his stock too bad because Fiziev is good, But yeah, I think the loser of this fight needs to go fight down in the rankings, let someone up. If Rufi loses, he's probably going to get moved down to 15th or maybe out of the rankings. And the winner of this fight is going to fight Dan Hooker versus Benoit Saint-Denis, which is a matchup we're going to talk about in a little bit. Moving on to Manuel Torres. I think this guy's Argentinian, no? Versus Mateus Gamer Gamrot. Gamer himself. This is one of my fights. It's going to be an interesting fight because Torres is on a 2-fight win streak, and Gamrot's 1-2 in his last 3. So his last loss to Oliveira, it wasn't that bad of a loss. It was coming off short notice. But I think he needs to go and fight down. And I think this is going to be his last big matchup in his career. He's 35 right now. His style does not get better with age. It's not like he's a jiu-jitsu heavy guy who can, I don't know, I guess pull guard and fluke a submission like Ortega at his grown age. So I think his style is not conducive to going into the older ages. He's not going to be able to fight for a long time. He doesn't have KO power. He's just not... Like, Derek Lewis can fight until he's 42, for example. Pereira can probably go until he's, 40, 39. But Mateus is not making it that far. I think this is his last chance to go fight someone up and like get a run going. And I think he's going to lose. I think he's going to win. I think Gamrot's going to win a decision. It's going to be the last big win of his career. It's a shame because I like Gamrot, even though some people say he's boring. I enjoy watching Gamrot. I like this fight against Oliveira. I like this fight against Dan Hooker. It was great. Moving on to motherfucker. This guy. This fucking dude. Michael Chandler. How is Chandler still ranked? This man is fucking Bonds. He's like he's ass, he's ranked, and matchmaking him is useless. Like, he's the worst character to matchmake in the UFC. Because he's gonna wait for Conor McGregor. Like, we need to check this guy for Stockholm Syndrome, because he's just been waiting for Conor McGregor for years now. He took a fight on short notice. He fought Charles, and they said it was going to be a title eliminator, which is kind of crazy, but yeah. This guy, get him out of here. I think he should go fight down the rankings and fight Chris Duncan, who's on a 4-fight win streak. He last beat Terrence McKinney. I think that's a good matchup to make. Let him into the rankings, get Chandler out of here. It's more so to get Chandler out than to bring Chris Duncan in. But yeah, slime out Michael Chandler, and my life is yours, Chris Duncan. I promise. I'll give you whatever you want. Next up, Renato Moicano. Yes, sir. Versus, outside of the rankings, Brian Ortega. You are my fire. You light my fire. This guy. Oh, I say Bright. Brian Ortega. I don't know why I wrote Bright. It's over. It really is over. This is another UFC match made. Like we talked about in the last video about featherweight, that Brian Ortega is leaving and going up to lightweight. Renato's gonna welcome him, and we're gonna see. It was not the seat height. Ortega, the weight was not the problem. You do not got it now after adjusting your seat. The weight is definitely not the problem for Ortega. He's old. He's washed. This fight's going to be a striking matchup between two guys I don't know how to strike. And Moicano's just going to win a sad decision. It's just going to be sad to watch. Ortega is cooked. Renato Moicano's not good, but he's better than Ortega at this point in their careers. And yeah, it's over. Next up, we have Benoit Saint Denis. Oh, I use that color. Benoit Saint Denis, the fucking Muppet. This guy right here. Call him the God of War. Or like, you know, I don't know, make your own joke here. He is going to be facing Dan Hooker, who is this fella right here. Famous words of Renato Moicano. It's like a turtle in a tree. Who put him there? How is Dan Hooker ranked 6th? I have no clue. He beat Gamrot. Close, low-key a robbery decision. And then he just got dominated by Sarukian. I don't know. Seeing him at 6 is kind of crazy. But yeah, this is going to be a good fight. I think this is potential to be fight of the year, fight of the night. If there's a finish, going to be KO of the night. My prediction for this fight is that we're going to see over 3 or more ghillie jumps from Dan Hooker, where he pulls bottom position and fucks up the ghillie. But I think he's not going to get punished as hard as he did against Arman. You know, Benoit's a good grappler, but he don't got it. He don't got it like Arman. He don't got it like that. I think Dan Hooker wins this one by KO. He's not going to get submitted by Benoit. He's going to definitely pull the ghillie, but he's going to be able to get back on his feet and strike. And I think Benoit Saint-Denis gets knocked out late in the fight, maybe round 3. This has potential to be my worst take that I've made so far on this channel, and that I maybe will ever make, because I could very easily see Dan Hooker just get dominated and submitted immediately. But I think he won't. I think he's going to pull the ghillie, get back on his feet, stop pulling the ghillie, and eventually TKO or KO Benoit Saint-Denis. The winner fights the loser of Max and Charles, which we're going to talk about in a second. And as I said, the loser fights Fiziev versus Rufi, the winner of that fight. So, where are they? Fiziev versus Hufi. Whoever wins this fight gets to fight the loser of this one. It'll be a move up in the rankings. And I think that's the right thing to do. This is another UFC matchup. Okay. Next, Paddy Pimblett versus Justin Gaethje. This is a UFC matchup again. We have Paddy Pimblett on the left here. Locked in, as you can tell. And we have Rufus Gaethje on the right here. I put an image of a grilled cheese because he looks like he keeps a grilled cheese on him at all times. Niche little reference for my loyal fans. This is a fight that's going to be for an interim belt, and the winner of this is supposed to unify the belts with Ilia. I think the idea the UFC has with this fight is giving Paddy another unk, like giving him another old person. They gave him Bobby Green, they gave him Michael Chandler. They've just been feeding him easy fights up to the belt, and they gave him someone in Justin Gaethje who doesn't really know jiu-jitsu, right? Like he's gotten submitted by Charles, he's gotten submitted by Khabib. It's been rough. It's been a rough couple of title shots for Justin Gaethje. However, they think they're feeding him another unk, but I think they're not actually feeding them another unk. Gaethje wins by decision. Hear me out. He has better striking. He has better defensive wrestling than Paddy has offensive wrestling. I've never seen Paddy Pimblett shoot. And Gaethje's losses, some of his losses to like Khabib, Khabib and Oliveira, they're low-key better than any of the wins Paddy has. I think his performance in his 2 title fights, which he lost by submission, are better than any of Paddy Pimblett's wins. Paddy Pimblett submitted Bobby Green, who jumped into a triangle and got his arm broken. Okay. And old man Michael Chandler. Like, Michael Chandler has no... Like, Justin Gaethje beat Michael Chandler already. No. I think he just wins a decision. It's going to be a big fraud check. A lot of people are going to be surprised. I'd honestly put money on Justin Gaethje if you're wanting to bet on this fight. But yeah, the winner fights Ilia or Arman, which we're going to talk about in a second. That's why I say Arman. I'm going to explain myself. And the loser has to fight the winner of Charles or Max. So it's going to be, even though they're ranked below these two, they're fighting for a higher honor in the interim belt. So it's going to be that situation. I think Charles Oliveira and Max Holloway are going to fight the loser of this one. And that'll be the next number 1 contender fight for the belt. Okay. The last UFC matchup of today, we have some really tragic matchmaking here. Charles Oliveira versus Max Holloway. Here we got Charles Oliveira, bottom left, my father, and Max Holloway here, top left. This fight is like watching my dad beat my mom. If that were my situation, this is how it would feel. No matter who wins, it's like watching a domestic dispute in your house. Dana White booty called me last night. He said they're actually going to make this fight an exhibition, and both of them are going to get a win on their records. So just letting you guys know. I just don't even want to predict the winner for this fight because I don't want either of them to lose. If I had to, gun to my head, kill all my homeboys, I think Max wins a mercy decision after dropping Charles multiple times. Mercy decision sounds weird because these guys are professional fighters. You know they're ready to step in the cage. Oh, look, I have 2 images of Charles. Look at him down here. Wow. So handsome. Both of these guys are ready to die when they step on the octagon, no doubt. I don't think there's any remorse for their opponents when they go in there. But I think it's going to be a similar situation to like Volk versus Korean Zombie, where he just got his ass beat and he was asking the ref to stop the fight. Justin Gaethje versus Donald Cerrone when he dropped him and he didn't want to follow up. Things like that. I think Max is going to outstrike Charles. Round 2, he's going to drop him. Round 3, he's going to drop him. Round 4, 5, maybe drop him another time. And I think he's going to slightly put his foot off the gas. He's not going to go for the kill against Charles. They have love for each other. They're both good guys. They don't need to knock each other out to make a statement. The win's going to be impressive on its own. Maybe this is just me coping because I don't want either of them to get knocked out. But that's it. I think after this fight, Charles is never gonna touch the belt again, neither interim or undisputed. He's not gonna get another chance. Probably fights twice more, 3 times more, and then retires. Winning this fight for Max, there's gonna be a lot of talks about him fighting Ilia again. The narratives are gonna start about, oh, Max at 155 is gonna be different. He was winning at 145 before he got knocked out. This narratives are gonna start. It's gonna be a whole topic, and it's true that out of all the people that Ilia has fought, apart from like Bryce Mitchell, Max Holloway did the best out of all of them. But yeah, so the loser fights the winner of Dan Hooker versus Benoit Saint Denis, and the winner fights Gaethje or Pimlet. Like whoever wins, the winner fights the loser of Gaethje and Pimlet, like I said, and that'll be the #1 contender shot for the next belt. Now, the last part of this division is the weirdest bit. So we have the champ, Ilia Topuria, and Arman Tsarukyan at the top. The reason I group these guys up is because Ilia's out indefinitely. We can't matchmake him. We can't give him a fight confidently. I put them together because they're not going to fight each other next, because we know there's an interim fight in the middle, but their next fight depends on the other fighting, if that makes sense. They're not next for each other, but if Ilia comes back soon, for example, he defends against the winner of Paddy and Gaethje. If he doesn't come back soon, then the winner of Paddy and Gaethje defends against Arman, defends the interim. If Ilia vacates, the whole different story, then the interim gets turned into the undisputed. Hopefully that doesn't happen. But yeah, regardless of the fight, I think the winner of Paddy and Gaethje is cooked. They lose both matchups. They either lose to Ilia by knockout or they lose to Arman by sub. Do you want to get your limbs dismembered or do you want to get your skin peeled off? Which one? Which one do you want? I think it's going to be, either way, they're going to be good fights. I'm going to be very excited to watch them. We're going to drop a predictions video for those fights when they come. And yeah, Paddy and Gaethje are cooked. Either way, they're not touching the belt. Undisputed gold, unless, like I said, Ilia vacates. Ilia Topuria, unless he vacates, it's over for these two. They're never touching undisputed gold. I love Ilia Topuria, man. Anyway, so this title situation, as we know, is a bit precarious, but the lightweight division has potential to be even more exciting than the welterweight division, in my opinion. Let me know, my two loyal fans, what you want to see next. I'm probably going to do, after here it gets kind of tragic, probably going to do the middleweight division next. But man, the heavyweight division's boring. The flyweight division is always tough, but I think now it has potential to get a little bit more interesting. We'll see what we do. We're going to drop a 2-hour-long video on the women's divisions. Those are my favorite divisions in the UFC. And yeah, I'm going to file a restraining order on Ilia Topuria, I think. Thank you guys for watching. Ciao, ciao.